Boom, we are live. How's everyone doing? Thank you so much for dropping in for your time. I want to give an extra special thanks to Jacob Alex. Thank you for your very kind tip. It goes a long way since we're basically starting the show over. Thank you for the continued support on Patreon. Just the messages, the love has been incredible. It's been kind of interesting, new, lonely times for me, but knowing that I have such an amazing community is all hugs and feels. So thank you guys. I'm glad to see that you're going to be flying into NYC right now, actually. Validator ETH. That's awesome. Everyone is in New York right now. New York! I'm wearing my shirt to represent for the NFT conference taking place. I missed it. I'm going to be in New York on the 26th. I didn't even realize that was happening with my time off. But I hope you have a fantastic time. It looks like it is a good time. I'm seeing all sorts of pictures and videos on Twitter. It's nice to dive back into the crypto community and still see that Twitter is the main place where all the action happens. And I didn't really lose my following there. In fact, it's grown a little bit. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go ahead and take a dive into some of the news that I found on Twitter and make sure that you're up to date with what's going on. I've been collecting the news through the weekend as I can, and yesterday as well. Markets were closed in remembrance of the Juneteenth important holiday where about slaves being emancipated. I think we can all agree it's pretty awesome we don't have slaves anymore. You could be a freaking slave, although you're a financial slave. But we all live in this shared delusion. At least we're all sharing it together. Isn't that nice? Hopefully we can break free using the shackles of Bitcoin. But and maybe we'll celebrate that holiday one day. But anyway, yeah, collecting the news. There wasn't too much going on, but putting it all together, there has been some goings on. So we're going to dive into that. What's happening in New York is an NFT conference. It looks like the biggest NFT conference that I've seen so far. All of the major influencers are out there. All the friends, all the buddies. Ken Bozak. You got girl. I mean, everyone's out there. It appears. Crypto Stash. It's nice. It looks like a nice way for everyone to come together during the bear market. But let's go ahead during the bear market. We got a nice little bump today, which is nice to see. I gotta get my macros back, my hotkeys. But here we are. We have Bitcoin right now up 2.1% over the last 24 hours, so still over 20,000 bucks. It dropped below that, but it's been a hell of a fight, even through all sorts of issues with hedge funds, all kind of tethered together. We're gonna get into some of that and how one major one coming down affects all these other players because they're all just linked together. And so even through all that, Bitcoin has been holding up really nicely, despite the fears. still holding up, and a lot of people have been selling really calls of saying, hey, maybe this is capitulation, maybe this is the bottom for Bitcoin. I have no idea. In fact, where's that Wall Street cheat sheet? Maybe we can pull that up. Wall Street cheat sheet, right? And then we can check out, what do you guys think? Where are we at? This came up the other day actually on Twitter, and I had my opinions about where we think we're at. So yeah, hopefully this isn't new to you and you've seen this before. But my thinking is that right now we're either at uh, this is a different one. Somebody changed this one. What the heck? This one has completely different ones. But I was thinking we're either between denial, like maybe everything's going to continue back up, or I mean, the chart itself is the same. It's just what's been filled in here has changed. Some of these sub quotes down here have changed, subtitles, whatever you call them. Anyway, I think we're either between denial or anger, where it seemed like there was a lot of hate, or maybe I guess we could be at capitulation right now. This is kind of appropriate. I'm 100% quitting Twitter. Social media is pointless. Yeah, Twitter has died down quite a lot of negativity that I'm seeing out there. So I really thought it was more anger. We had the media coming out with all sorts of hate articles, just declaring victory against Bitcoin for the umpteenth time. What is it? 99bitcoins.com is a website you can go to and check out the obituary. I actually interviewed the guy who made this website a long time ago, I think in 2016 or 2017, and the interview got deleted off my phone. I did it on my phone. I think it was Ophir, is that his name? But yeah, here they have Bitcoin obituaries, and you click on that. Yeah, it's died 455 times. It's like the phoenix that always rises up. So yeah, all sorts of calls for it to be dead, just a sign of capitulation. Obviously, it hasn't died. Oh, I wanted to say, if you guys get back to cryptosnews.com, it's a place that you can visit, CRYPT0snews.com, and you can check out all sorts of links there. You can see my latest video if you prefer not to come straight to YouTube, or you want to see if I uploaded a video or whatever. You don't get the notifications for some reason, you can go there. Or you can click here, my old videos. That'll take you over, because some people are like, what about all your old videos? Were they really gone forever? Well, thanks to Odyssey/library, no, you can actually check out all my old videos, as I've said, including the reruns that I was doing towards the end there before I kind of went manic and deleted my whole show, regretfully, but here we are. We can only live in the present. We all make mistakes, and that's why I'm just grateful to have you guys. But anyway, yeah, you can check out all of the videos and the whole ride through there. And you can sort also here by oldest first, and you'll get some embarrassing videos. But yeah, so you can check that out via the link at cryptosnews.com. I also put in the description. If you ever want to check out the old videos, that's there. We documented it. Many of you were a part of those via having the live chats on the screen. Maybe I'll bring that back if that's of interest. Over my own face, we'll put the chat going on there so you guys can be commemorated again. But yeah, on Market Watch today, we can see Dow almost up 650 points. So nice bounce back overall. Just been a lot of pessimism. Nice to see after, I don't know how many freaking weeks it's been, 11 weeks, I don't know, something like that, of just straight down days, seeing a nice bounce. It feels good. Now, should we be selling into this bounce? I guess that's up to you. Decide. I want to know, are you guys buying? Are you settling, or hodling? Are you settling here and therefore selling for these prices? You can let me know in the comments here if you didn't participate in my Twitter poll. But yeah, we also have ETH up 3% today. It was up, I saw over the weekend, as high as 1,198 bucks at one point there. People were saying, oh, it's the weekend pump. It's the weekend pump. This is just going to lead to crisis over the week. But no, we're even as the week has, the financial week, TradFi markets being open, have continued. Still, we're up, so that's good to see. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but Dogecoin is being accepted now. I just read for some merchandise by SpaceX or Tesla or whatever. I don't know. What a Musk's companies. He's the only one that moves markets. And of course, we're going to get a nice climb in Shiba Inu, which is the hanger on here. So not too remarkable, but pretty remarkable a jump considering the jumps we've seen recently across these major coins. What are some of your guys' picks? If you are really buying here, I suppose you're buying alts if you're really thinking we're turning around for some reason. Although I don't know why you would. Uniswap had some news today. Uniswap is creating their own NFT market. We're gonna get into that. So I gotta go through this, I suppose, kind of quick, but let's go ahead and get over to my profile. I've been retweeting what I think is important. Yeah, happy to be back, Cryptoland. Happy to see you back as well, bro. So let me go back to, what is it? Let's go back as far as here. So Celsius put up an FAQ back on June 19th. So that's 2 days ago now. They actually have canceled their Twitter Spaces and AMAs because of the issues that they've been having. Those are not going to be happening, which I think kind of sucks for the community. People are like, are going to have to do it themselves to figure out what's going on here. But at least Celsius has been doing transparent notes like this constantly. But it is sad to know that while times were good, we were getting these live streams, and while times are bad, it's like, sorry guys, you're on your own. So not too nice to see, but just wanted to update on that if that was something you look forward to. I know Alex Mashinsky, the CEO, someone who's been on the show several times, used to always make appearances on those, and now he's kind of hid from the public naturally. Anyway, ProShares launched this today, actually, the first US short Bitcoin linked ETF. So it allows you to get exposure through your regular brokerage stock account or whatever you're using to go ahead and take advantage of this asset that lets you get exposure to Bitcoin's price going down, which is pretty awesome. It does that via the futures price. As recent times have shown, according to the CEO Michael L. Sapir of ProShares, Bitcoin can drop in value. Oh, wow, so recent, never happened before. BITI is the ticker symbol, affords investors who believe that the price of Bitcoin will drop with an opportunity to potentially profit or to hedge their cryptocurrency holdings. BITI enables investors to conveniently obtain short exposures to Bitcoin through buying an ETF in a traditional brokerage account. It's done through the S&P CME's Bitcoin Futures Index. It seeks to achieve its objective on each investment day and for no other period. BITI seeks to obtain exposure through the Bitcoin Futures contracts. I don't know how it's trading today. I haven't gotten as far as checking that. Just want to make sure you guys stay up to date. Let me know. Are you going to buy this and go short Bitcoin? If so, you'd be wrecked. That's part of the reason I was loath to sell, or I would be loath to sell over the weekend, because once you see a product like this come out, it's just a sign that you're going to get dumped on retail. In other words, the price is probably going to be going up. And lo and behold, it went up. And not to say that it won't go down, but yeah, we got to make sure that retail gets dumped on first. Oh, the hottest thing. Oh, yeah. Hot because you going to get burned. So what is this? Tegan.eth. ETH is currently cheaper than its 2017 peak. Yeah, because of the drop. It's true. 4.5 years wiped out of the market. That was quite remarkable for me. Something that I really couldn't have predicted myself would be happening. Usually we've seen that we don't come down to prior performances peaks below them, but we did see that with ETH. Even though the merge is going to be coming in maybe a few months, 90% reduction in rewards. There will be no more proof of work mining with our computers. No more hate for the GPU crowd. Instead, it'll be all proof of stake, and a lot of technical thinking, a lot of blueprint thinking that's gone on throughout the years to make sure that this works. Still, we have some issues with centralization, but hopefully those clear up. Meanwhile, DeFi works when it works. NFTs work. Yeah. DAOs work. Yeah, when they work. There are more devs building on Ethereum than ever before. Yeah, I saw something like there's still a massive amount of new openings for jobs for cryptocurrency, even now during this bear market. Issuance is reducing and the merge is coming. There we go. Fundamentals could not be stronger. True. So what is the point of impermanent loss protection if it just disappears when you need it most? Oh yeah, we'll get into that in a moment, but this was Kobe talking about Bancor. I guess we'll just get into that now. Basically, Bancor has something. Bancor has been around for a long time. I had interviewed them when they had an early project, which has changed quite a bit now. They were an early pioneer in what we could now call DeFi before it became really DeFi as you know it today. But they had come out with a new product, which was really, really cool. So if you use Uniswap or you're familiar with Uniswap, there you can deposit liquidity onto a pool, and you can do so using two different tokens. So you can, for example, put ETH and DAI, and whenever people want to trade between ETH and DAI, like they want to buy ETH with DAI, they deposit die and then they pull out ETH from this pool, so on. Anyway, because of the mechanisms, there's something called impermanent loss. While they get a share of the rewards whenever users, like maybe yourself, might trade between these two different tokens, the liquidity pool holders get some sort of reward. They might suffer if the price of one token deviates from the initial entry substantially, either to the upside or down. Basically, in a nutshell, you can still lose a lot of money on Uniswap if you're a liquidity provider. But Bancor came up with this impermanent loss protection plan whereby you can just deposit one token into one side of a trade and they basically redeemed you. Even if there was impermanence loss, which is what happens when this deviation in price happens, they would cover you using their own mechanisms, I believe, involving their own token, buying back, whatever. Point being, they paused this, which is a little bit concerning. People were becoming very concerned yesterday that this could be something because they had mentioned Three Arrows Capital in this blog post. They mentioned Celsius. Well, they didn't mention them specifically, but they said two major centralized players that had solvency issues had problems, and this might be causing issues for Bancor, so they had to temporarily pause their impermanent loss protection. And so this could be a sign that maybe more could be happening that could be negative for Bancor. And they also have upgradable smart contracts. They pause withdrawals, which was being seen as something quite negative. Like, what if you have upgradable smart contracts? You shouldn't just add functions that are negative to the users like that. It's supposed to be add improvements, but that's one of the problems with having centralized managers of smart contracts. Anyway, all this, I don't know exactly where it's at today. I have to catch up, but just be careful there if you're messing around with Bancor. They did disable deposits, so I guess suppose that's a good thing. We don't know exactly the extent of it, but just be careful. Oh yeah, same thing with Solana here. A whale had deposited a bunch of Solana. Anyway, that's a whole drama as well that involved. Now Solana is being called SQL Lana, if you don't know. So yeah, SOL, shit out of luck, centralized blockchain. I think a lot of people are very aware that it is quite centralized. When you type in SQL, it looks very similar to SOL. You just add a little bit of a line there to the O and you get SQL. SQL is at the backbone of databases that power the centralized world as we know it today, that we're trying to escape from using decentralized crypto. So if you change SOL into SQL, you get these databases. Anyway, yeah, Solana frequently has had a lot of downtimes, and now they've had other situations where they've frozen users' funds and need to use them over the counter in order to fix solvency issues. So anyway, it's just if you're holding Solana, it's getting more and more difficult to really vouch for it if you really are a supporter of decentralization. It's just not looking good. Let's see, the last 3 consecutive days had been the largest USD denominated realized loss in Bitcoin history, according to Glassnode here. So yeah, that was massive, crazy. Over 7.325 billion in Bitcoin losses had been accumulated by investors spending coins that were accumulated at higher prices. So this is interesting because this shows us that there's still a lot of room for selling that could be taking place here. So over the course of the last 3 days, again, this is on June 19th, approximately 500 and RSR to Mars. I wonder why RSR, Adrian Holmes, is the token that you're looking for, man. Approximately 555,000 Bitcoin have changed hands between the prices of $18,000 and $23,000. This chart shows the on-chain price distribution by age bands. Red are less than 1 week old coins recently changed hands. Orange are 1 million to 1 year old coins, and green are greater than 1 year old coins. In a nutshell, what this is, I think what's really important here, because we are getting through quite a bit, and I don't want to make these videos very long anymore. Where was it? Yeah, it's showing that basically long-term holders still hold something like 30% of their holdings. Where is this? Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna read the entire thread, but there's still a lot of Bitcoin that are still being held, that were held at different price points below $20,000, that are still holding on quite a bit according to that report. So there is the potential for quite a bit of downside if Bitcoin continues, and there is still quite a bit of leverage. Right now, Ethereum is the longest position that we've seen in a long time, I saw as well. So just be careful. We don't necessarily know that the selling is over, so you have to be careful. Optimize what you can control to prepare for what you cannot control. Simple yet extremely difficult. Yeah, said DC. That was DC Investor. He's someone who's become very respected in the ETH finance community, which is on Reddit, and I think he has taken a lot of experiences over the years. So I really think he's someone you should definitely follow. I am DC Investor. Optimize for what you can control to prepare for that which you cannot control. I think wise words. Simple yet extremely difficult. Here's Evan Van Ness. In 2015, Ethereum fell below $1. In 2017, Ethereum fell below $10. In 2020, Ethereum fell below $100. And in 2022, we've had Ethereum fall below $1,000. So, yeah, I think the moral of that story is hodling tends to produce pretty good results. And yeah, I personally think it's difficult to, after so much selling that has been happening, to try to time that. If everyone thinks that we're going to be going down, if everyone thinks that, then generally the most profitable side is to take the reverse of that. That risk adjusted though, that doesn't mean that it's the best play at all times. So keep that in mind. If you must be objective. Are people literally spam buying the Ethereum and Bitcoin rainbows? Well, I certainly hope so, because that means these would be opportunities to buy. And we have, again, seen a lot of buying whenever we hit the bottom of these rainbows, potentially. And this is going way back, some of these charts here. We did see a bounce, so this is something that's quite positive if we do continue that. That was Eric Wall. Plan E. And it's time now for Plan E. If you remember Plan B, Bitcoin, 100 trillion USD, it's time for Plan E. We're running out of plans here. What about when we run out of Plan Z, once we get to Plan Z? This is something quite positive. This was by Northman Trader. Sven Henrik. One more rate hike, and we're at or exceeding the historic Fed capitulation trend as the ever-increasing debt construct brings about a recession, and the Fed has to intervene by cutting rates. So it has cut rates every time we hit this trend line or around this trend line. Now the Fed, just keep in mind, take this with a grain of salt, just because let's say they hike next month one more time, doesn't mean they're going to reverse course. The Fed has this thing called credibility, and they have promised that they need to see several months of rate hikes in a row before they consider reversing course and making money cheap, and therefore allowing risk assets to moon again. It's all a theory as to whether Bitcoin ultimately will have to drop below 15,000, 10,000 bucks in the event that risk assets don't have substantial liquidity coming in. But yeah, that's all theory. That's speculation. That's what most people believe. Again, that does not make it true. So that's why it's kind of scary to try to be selling an asset that is your ultimate hedge against the collapse of an entire system like this. So just be very careful. But at the same time, the Fed has promised that they want to bring pain. They want our pockets to feel a lot of pain, to bring down inflation. And so I don't know. I take this, again, with a grain of salt, but everything, I mean, it's nice to look at. Maybe they will reverse course. I don't know. I hope so. And then Bullard came out, Fed president. He came out, it was yesterday. And we don't have as far to go on QT as it seems, he said, on quantitative teasing, tightening as it might seem. So this is kind of going in line with that. So if a Fed president is coming out and saying that the pain isn't going to last as long as we're thinking, that might be good news. I'm sorry that I have to put together so many different things and kind of rush through it without giving too many sources. I'm just trying to get through a lot again to cover what happened on the weekend and yesterday. I didn't expect that there was going to be a financial holiday. It kind of snuck up on me. I was hoping to make a video, but there wasn't a lot, and suddenly there was a lot by the end of the day. So I'm trying to put that all together for you guys. So yeah, make sure that you check out this retweet that I did on Twitter. It gets more into the Bancor situation, explains how all of it works, if that's of interest to you. I think it is very interesting to be aware of how Bancor was structured. It was seen as something that had a lot, I think over 97% 100% trustability and reliability score as compared to other DeFi projects, and even they're having some sort of issues right now. So it's worth it if you really care about this DeFi and want to understand how everything works to read through this thread to get more of an understanding. And yeah, I agree with Crypto Stash, who's at the NYC NFT conference right now, who said, it kind of feels like a slap in the face still getting these notifications from Celsius. Time to celebrate. You earned $108.83 in rewards. Yeah, but we can't withdraw them, and we're not 100% sure we ever will. Although this is interesting. So FTX official Sam Friedman, one of the heroes of the space recently, he's been offering lines of credit to all sorts of crypto companies. At first, this was a rumor. This was being reported, I think, on Vox or one of the mainstream publications. That's really been covering crypto a lot. And it came out that Sam Friedman was offering lines of credits to a lot of these companies like BlockFi that were having issues, offering to buy up some of this debt. And now it's really been confirmed that this is true. BlockFi today said they signed a term sheet with FTX, headed up by Sam Friedman, to secure a $250 million revolving credit facility, providing them with access to capital that further bolsters their balance sheet and platform strength. The proceeds of the credit facility are intended to be contractually subordinate to all client balances across all accounts. So this includes BIA, BPY, and loan collateral, and will be used as needed. Throughout the market volatility of the last several weeks, all of these projects have been shaking and have been shitting their pants. I'm incredibly proud of how our team, platform, and risk management protocols have performed. Today's landmark announcement reinforces BlockFi's commitment to serving its clients and ensuring their funds are safeguarded and that they can exist. So, BlockFi, I'd seen this talked about, which I thought was interesting, was one that was seen as, they're not the best place to be parking assets. They have continually lowered rates. You're not earning as much as you're earning on Celsius on BlockFi. You're only earning 4%. Now this month it's only 3%. But they were some of the ones to get out of the way first before this kind of collapse. And so their users might actually have their funds there for them at the end. So they end up being the good guys. Oh man, how the tides have turned. And now they have secured funding. So the funds may be safe for you on BlockFi versus Celsius. So you never really know who the good guys are. The good guys, whoever got your money at the end of the day. Or hopefully it's yourself, of course, at the end of the day. And you are able to take possession. I know I made my mistake. And I've gone a lot through I've learned my own lessons, of course. It wasn't full. I went completely almost psychotic through everything that happened with me with certain nootropics, and really reflecting on it. I was not in my right state, and luckily I wasn't on YouTube able to steer other people wrong, but I was trying to figure my own shit out. But I did lose a lot of money in the process, and now it's a matter of survival. And we're all having our own matters of survival and our own struggles in life. And I just want you guys to know that I'm here with you. I think I have a mild depression. I've been having a mild depression, and just having to know that you guys are still here for me really helps a lot. So thank you. Just wanted to say that. But this is the Uniswap universe expanding. They have purchased Genie XYZ, Uniswap Labs, so the first NFT marketplace aggregator. So you'll be able to buy from different NFT marketplaces in one venue, expanding their products to include both ERC20s and NFTs. I did mention this briefly in the beginning, but yeah, they bought Genie's XYZ. Starting this fall, you'll be able to buy and sell NFTs directly on the Uniswap web app. And they'll integrate NFTs onto their developer APIs and widgets. I think this is really, really cool, making Uniswap a comprehensive platform for users and builders in Web3. This isn't their first foray into the world of NFTs. In 2019, they launched Unisocks, and later their work on version 3 helped pioneer on-chain generative SVGs. They see NFTs as another form of value in the growing digital economy, and it's a no-brainer for them to integrate them into their products. Yeah, so anyways, the last final thing, this is really cool if you were already part of the Genie community before. If you're not, I guess it sucks to be us. To welcome the Genie community to the Uniswap universe, we'll be airdropping, they said, USDC later this summer to anyone who used Genie more than once before April 15th or holds a Genie Gem NFT. So if you're one of the lucky ones to have those NFTs or interacted with Genie before April 15th, you're going to be eligible for some USDC. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, there was a video that took place on YouTube with Hayden Adams. If you're interested, the CEO or the founder of Uniswap Labs, check that out if you want more information. But I thought that's pretty cool. People are saying maybe it'll bring down the fees. I don't know that it'll bring down the fees because it's an aggregator, meaning they're probably going to have to charge more fees. The more complicated you make a smart contract and the more steps, the more functions, the more that is going to cost. It's why people are saying, oh, I didn't realize USD Tether had a function that allowed them to blacklist funds. Yeah, they do. Same thing with all these centralized stablecoins do. That includes USDC as well. USDC has the ability to blacklist addresses. So the government decides that you are a problem for whatever reason, you get put on a list. Smart contract has to check that list to check if you're on that blacklist before you can move those USDC funds of yours off your wallet or from wherever, from an exchange, and they will not move if you're blacklisted. But because it has to check that function or check that list, that means that it's a more complicated smart contract. That means it's going to charge more gas, and that's why DAI may be better, so on. But yeah, just a little bit more information there. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. Vitalik, you guys surely have heard of stock to flow. So that's the amount of Bitcoin being issued versus the amount that has already existed. You could apply this to all sorts of tokens, but it's really famous for Bitcoin. So Vitalik had some not so nice words today. I thought it was so surprising because he's usually an upbeat, nice guy, but I just thought it was interesting. He said stock to flow is really not looking good right now, so he joined the bandwagon of hate against stock to flow. I know it's impolite to gloat and all that, but I think financial models that give people a false sense of certainty and predestination that number will go up are harmful and deserve all the mockery that they get. So yeah, we can follow the line there. And I mean, it's dropped below the line before, so it's not to say that it won't go up. Certainly, I think most of us do hope that Bitcoin goes up, but yeah, that was in response to Sassel.eth, another member of the Ethereum community who's been around for a long time. The stock to flow model is such an epic failure that Plan B, who created it, mentioned briefly in the beginning of the video, should just delete his account. He won't though, because he sadly still has 1.8 million followers who eat up all of his hopium garbage on a daily basis. So a lot of hate for Plan B, but I think we should share the peace and love rather. I mean, he's already getting beaten, right? Like he's really crossing his fingers that it reverses, and everyone's saying, well, it's more of a range. It's not supposed to be exact. And they're absolutely right. So it might be too early to start bashing Plan B. At least that's what I think. Eric Voorhees, man, so much hate on Twitter these days, but this is just where a lot of, again, the heads of crypto companies and the thought leaders, this is where they tend to congregate. And that's why I'm going through this. I think from this point forward, says Eric Voorhees, founder of Shapeshift, instead of debating all the no coiner critics, we should just politely give them a link to the short Bitcoin ETF. I love that. That was in reference to that new ETF that launched today, and that pretty much takes us through what's the major topics that I found between yesterday and today. Maybe I'm missing something, but that's pretty much all the major stuff that I could find. Now, as we go through the week, I will hope to bring you more present news as we get it out. People wait for TradFi to be open before we see that. But I do hope you enjoyed the show and you'll consider giving a like and subscribing to the show if you haven't yet. I want to keep you guys informed so you can make the best decision for yourselves, for your own health, for your own prosperity, for your own wealth, and your own human growth, I think. You'll have a community here that really puts looking out for each other above everything else. So thank you so much if you joined me live. To those of you who did, thank you so much, Vodka Cranberry. Nice to see you as well, dude. Yeah, happy to be back too. And Random Moses, it's good to see you back. It's good to be back. It really is. And every time I see that, it really just, even to see it a bunch of times, it's not like when I see Happy Birthday a bunch of times. It really does add a little bit. I love you guys so very much. And I thank you for joining me today in the show. And I hope you'll continue to support by just showing up at the very least. If not doing Patreon, because we're really not making any bucks via Super Chat or via YouTube or anything right now. And I do hope to make this show my main source of income. I love you guys. I don't know how to put it that way. And I want to dedicate my life's work to continue to be here for you and to grow it slowly over time again to what we had before. So thanks for being a foundational part of it. And I'll see you guys soon. I meant to add the new ending credits. So let's go ahead and do that. Where is that? Where can we put that? Right here. Take care, everyone.